Hello, let's do one up. Puzzle 349. It's a 7x7 today, and today's the day that I go over things more carefully for people who may be new to one up. So if that's you, this might be the good first one to try, or at least watch this so you know what to do. All right, so the way this game works is we need to put a digit in every single cell. Now, the digits have a restriction on the range. So how does that work? Well, rows or columns are split up by these bold borders into segments. So we have two segments in this row, the segment to the left of the bold border and the segment to the right of it. A segment of length n has the digits 1 to n once each. So each of these cells can only be from 1 through 3, and these cells can be from 1 through 4, but it's once each. So this segment already has a 3, so we're left with 1 and 2 to place. This segment already has a 4, so we're left with 1, 2, and 3 to place. We got to place them once each. Now, we might have some rows or columns, like this column, with no bold borders. So you just look at it's like it's one segment, and it's 7 long, because we're 7x7 today. So we need all of 1 through 7 once each. All right, so those are the rules. I'm going to get started, and I'm going to show you. I like to look at the short segments first, because often there's just easy gimmies there. So for example, this 4-length segment here, we know it needs a 2, and this cell can't be 2. There's already a 2 in the column segment. And this cell can't be 2. There's already 2 in the column segment. Cross-referencing how the rows and columns interact is most of the puzzle. So these 2 can't be 2, but we need a 2 somewhere. This is filled with a 4, so this is the only place for 2, and that's called a hidden single, borrowed from Sudoku. So we're left with 1 and 3, but we don't know which goes which. Now, I'm going to go without penciling, but if you would want to pencil, you could pencil 1, 3 there. I find it gets cluttered, and the game's kind of boring if you just go and pencil everything. Now this cell here, horizontally, is in a 1-cell segment. A 1-cell segment just needs a 1. That's it. So you can just easy gimme there. Now another property of these puzzles, if you think about it, each row has a certain number of segments of a certain length. And so that's going to contribute to the entire puzzle, 1 through that length. And so in order for that to match, it is true that the columns also need exactly the same length number of each length segment. So there's a 1-length segment according to the rows. So the columns should also have a 1-length segment. We just have to look for it. It's right there. So that's also a 1 gimme. Often these 1 gimmies, you can follow up on them and find something else that they do. So this one here, looking up, remember we needed 1 and 2 left here. This can't be a 1 anymore. So there's 2 options here. They're both equally valid. One is we can say, well, we need a 1 in this segment. So that's a 1. And now this cell is the last cell of the segment, so it's got to be the missing digit, which is the 2. You can also do this another way, which is to say this cell here, it's going to be a 1, 2, or 3. It maxes out at 3 because it's in a 3-length segment. But it sees a 1 in the column, and it sees a 3 in the row. So the only digit left it could be is a 2, so it better be a 2, or we won't be able to fill any digit in it without breaking rules. And then the row finishes with a 1. So you can see there's kind of a corollary. You can find that either way, and knowing how to find it both ways gives you a higher chance to spot it. All right. Let's see. So we're just going to keep looking at, let's see. There's a follow-up for this one that we placed. The follow-up's always going to be tangential to how you found it. So this can't be a 1 and this can't be a 1. Unfortunately, I don't really see that immediately doing anything. All right, any other short segments? So we have a 2-length segment here. If we look all the way up here, there's a 2. There's no bold border blocking it. So this can't be a 2. So this has to be a 1, and this is a 2. We're left with 1, 3 in this column. We can see what we're left with in this column. So we have 1, 2. We need 3, 6, 7. Well, this row here, this segment is only 3 length. It can't be 1 or 2, so it has to be the 3. We're left with 6 and 7. Now this row is only 6 long, so it can't have the 7 in it. So that's our 6 and that's our 7. All right. And that's something I'm going to expand on with some of these other rows and columns, is sometimes they just kind of complete themselves. This 2 does look down here now. This can't be 1 or 2. So 2 ways to do it. This is a naked 1, and then this finishes with a 2. Or where does the 2 go in this segment? It goes here, and we finish with a 1. Now this 2 finishes the column with a 1, the column segment. Okay. Now this can't be 1 and this can't be 1, so we can place the 1 in this segment here. We're left with 2, 3 that we can't resolve. This 2 does not peek past the bold border, right? Neither does this 3. All right, I'm noticing this column here, we need, this has been here from the start. This 2 sees here, this 2 sees here, so we need a 2 in the column, which goes there. All right. I'm interested in this column because I've noticed that, this 2 sees here, this 2 sees here, this 2 sees here. there's still 2 places for 2, so we can't quite follow up there. This can't be 2, but interesting. Okay. Let me tell you about this technique. It's a little bit advanced, and you sometimes need it, but it's very rare. But it can get you progress, which is also nice. So look at this column. Where does it get a 2 from? Well, this can't be 2. This can't be 2. This can't be 2. So it gets a 2 from one of these two. I'm going to pencil that just to show you what I'm seeing in my head here. Now this, remember, this also needs a 2. So it has a 2 here or a 2 here. So the question I want to ask is, how many 2s can we have in this horizontal segment plus this horizontal segment? Not a trick question. We know that each segment has a single 2 in it. So this segment needs a 2, and this segment has a 2, but only 1. So there's 2 2s in total. Now, these columns here also provide 2 2s to these rows, right? Because we know one of these is going to be a 2, one of these is going to be a 2. So are there any 2s left for these rows? No, because they need 2 2s exactly. They have exactly 2 2s, and one of them's here and one of them's here. So this cell here can't actually be a 2. We'd have an extra 2. Another way to kind of see that is if I did place a 2 here, then this couldn't be 2 and this can be 2. So now this column would need a 2 here, and this column would need a 2 here, and they'd clash. So the conclusion here is that this cell cannot actually be 2, and so now where does this column get a 2 from? Exactly right here. All right. We could have actually seen that this row needed a 2, so here's another way to place this 2. As we look at this row, first thing we notice is I did not finish this column, so let's do that now. But this row needs a 2, and this 2 looks down, and this 2 looks down, so the row needs a 2, so this is the only place for it. That doesn't always happen when you find something like this, but like I said, there's often more than one way to find the same conclusion, and they're going to all agree because there's only one solution to the puzzle. All right, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. We need 5 and 6. This is only 5 length, so this is our 5, and this is our 6. Okay. This cell here, it sees a 1, 3, and 4, so there's only one digit it can be, which is a 2. We're left with 3 and 4 across here. This is a 3 length segment. So this is our 3, and this is our 4. We can finish this vertical with a 2. This column here, we have 1 and 2. We are going to need a 3, 5, 7. Now, I'm not actually seeing how that resolves. All right. 3, 4, 5 across here. This cell here can't be 3 or 4. Can't be 1 or 2 either, so 5 is the only option. We're left with 3 and 4. This 4 tells us this is 3, this is 4. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 now. We need 5. We need a 5. This 5 says not here. That's our 5, and then we finish with a 7. Okay. This column here needs a 4. That's been there from the start. That's not 4. That's not 4. So the 4 goes there. We're going to need a 1 and a 3 to finish that. Okay, so what's next? Let's look at this row to see if we can do anything with it. So what I like to do is I like to look at the lengths of each of the columns for the cells that remain. So this is max length. So this maxes at 7, but 7's already taken. So we can say this maxes at 6. This also maxes at 6. This maxes at 3. Why 3? It's a 4 length segment, but there's already a 4 in it. So this maxes at 3. This maxes at 4 because it's a 5 length segment and 4 is already used. 5 is already used. So 6, 6, 3, 4. Unfortunately, I can't do anything with that because I still need to place a 1 somewhere. So, in fact, though, where's the 4? This 4 sees here, this 4 sees here, and this 4 sees here. So we can place the 4. Now this is 1 or 3. We're left with 1, 3, 6. And I don't really see a way to resolve that. Okay. How about this row here? Max 7, max 6, max 3, max 3. Okay. So I have 2 cells here that max at 3. Notice I already have the 2 placed. So if these max at 3 and the 2 is already placed, I need 2 different digits, 3 or less, but I'm not allowed to use the 2. So 1 and 3 are the only 2 digits left. Now I don't know how the 1 and 3 resolve, but I know that one of them's 1 and one of them's 3 because we need to fit a different digit into each one. Those are the only 2 available. So that means that these can't be 1, 3 at all because we already used it in the row. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are gone. We need 6 and 7. This is too short to be a 7. So this is our 6 and that's our 7. Now if we go back up to here, if you remember we needed 1, 3, 6. This can't be 1 and 6 anymore. So this is our 3. And then now this definitely can't be the 6. So this is our 6. This is our 1. Now that's going to cascade. That gives us our 3 here, which gives us our 1 here, which gives us our 3 here, and our 1 here, and our 3 here. This column here finishes with a 5, and our entire puzzle finishes with a 1, and we're done. All right, now that normally would not take me anywhere near 10 minutes, but all right, when I click around on it, it gives me the dialogue. So I won't do that. This puzzle would normally take me less than 10 minutes, but I thought that, you know, for on Tuesdays, it's the second easiest of the week. The first easiest of the week, I do the speed run. And then the next one, explaining it in detail so that you can follow along if you want to learn how to, you know, absorb the techniques that are needed for 1UP. All right, cool. We were able to get through quite a bit of them, actually. We covered most of the basics, so that's great. So yeah, let me know how you did on this one, especially if it was your first time trying. And if you enjoyed this, why don't leave a like, subscribe, and a kind comment below.